Yeah, say yes if you agree that body language plays a big impact in how we show empathy with people, yes?
Yes.
So here's what I want you to know about body language. Body language is not about what you want it to mean, it is about perception. I want you to hear that. Body language is not about what anyone in this room wants it to mean, it is about perception. Now I told you yesterday, what's the most honest part of the body? It is your feet. Your feet will always face the direction you're most interested. So I don't want you to take my word for it. I'm going to show you something. Is it Darlene? So Darlene, I want you to be honest with the group. Tell them what you feel, right? Half the group yesterday just said your face and your eyes are the most honest part of the body. So if I point my feet this way, but I'm talking to you like this as your leader or your coach, does this energy feel different to you than when I actually turn to you and face you with my feet and actually turn to you? Does that feel different? Yeah, feels completely different. And so I'm going to show you about a few body language tips about what is the body language of empathy and compassion. What does that look like and how do we do it as leaders? So right now, if I was coaching Darlene as a leader and I wanted to try to make sure that my body language, my energy, my presence shows empathy, what are some things I would do with my body language? You tell me. Okay? Okay, so let's talk about eye contact. Out of 100% eye contact, how much should you maintain with someone? Not 100, it's creepy, no one likes it, okay? No one likes it, right? Because here's what the research says. If all I did was look at Darlene and I never looked away, what's it actually considered? It is creepy, but what else is it considered?
You don't believe it.
It's intimidation. What it looks like is when somebody never looks away, so first of all, I always say this to leaders. Does my presence make it safe for you to tell me the truth? Does my presence make it safe for you to tell me the truth? And if all I do is look at her and never look away, that's pretty intimidating. Now, you don't need to know the number, but I'm going to give you some of the research. The research says you should maintain between 60 and 70% consistent eye contact. Because anything above 80% is considered intimidation. So watch this. From a body language perspective, if I was coaching Darlene, and Darlene, I can tell she might be thinking, or maybe she gets even emotional. What do you think I do with my eye contact? I actually break eye contact with her. Because why do you think I do that? Yeah. So I'm using my presence, right, to create space in the conversation to make it safe for her. So you said eye contact, that's one thing. We also know the feet should be pointed to the person. What else would I do? Okay? Why do we typically lean in? I want you to know some of that. Why do we do that? Yeah, so here's what you should know. We get closer to the things that we like. We get further from the things that we don't like. Let me give you a good example. So Susan, come on up here. Bring your chair. Slide up here with me. This is your moment. Come on, Susan. All right? So imagine, you'll know, like if you were going to church or you're going to the movies, you're going to know if you had a really good time getting there or not. Because watch what will happen. In that moment, so let's say we went to the movies and you're having a really good date or you're having a really good time. How will you sit in the movie theater or at church or whatever if it's going really well? Yeah, my arm will be around Susan. You like that, don't you? Come on, Susan, okay? So we'll do this, right? You're going to be really connected. There's going to be little space. But let's say going there, we got an argument, and I want to chew her face off right now, right? Well, how would we be sitting right there? Even if we have to sit beside each other, what would we be doing? You are going to do everything. You've actually probably, yeah. So you're going to do everything. We're actually blocking each other now. So even what happens with people, you see it all the time, when you're actually sitting aside but they're not comfortable, so they completely cross over. This will happen on a plane. So if on a plane you sit down with the person beside you, typically you're strangers, you don't know each stranger danger. I don't know Susan, I don't know what she's going to do, right? So what happens is you completely cross over opposite ways. So I played this little game. Remember, everything that I teach with body language is about connection. And how do we use it to connect with people to show empathy and compassion? So I'll do this. Eventually I'll start saying, so if I want to talk to someone, I'll be like, so where are you going? And eventually I change my body language. I ask questions about them and get them engaged. And what do you think happens before long? They will eventually cross over and their body language starts opening up. Because my body language, I hope, makes it safe for people to open up and start connecting. That's what it's about. Good. Thank you, Susan, right? And so what else do we do? So eye contact, feet, you talked about leaning in. There is one more that I want you to know when it comes to empathy and compassion. What is a major, one of the major signs that you'll know with somebody with empathy?
Your hands.
Nope, not hands.
What's the question? The tone?
No? I do think tone, we talk about tone is a part of nonverbal. It is important. Because I just had the opportunity to interview Melissa Laura, so the president of Taco Bell International, and I asked her, what do you think gets in the way for a lot of leaders? And she says, I believe their intensity holds them back. So to your point, my tone can be intense. My body language can be too intense. So we have to really manage the intensity of not only our verbal stuff, but also the nonverbal, and make sure we're creating that space in the conversation. But there's one gesture. Only men in the room answer this question. So men, what do you think it means when you're talking to a woman, could be personally or professionally, and you're sitting there and she just nods her head slowly? Like, only men answer that. What do you think it means? Okay? Bored and stuff? No, that's why you're going to get divorced. I'm going to help you, okay? That's not what it means, all right? What we know from research, typically when women nod slowly, what does it typically mean? Yeah, I get you. It's very empathetic. I'm listening. I get you. Tell me more about that. Now, I'm going to caveat that. If anyone does it fast, what's this mean? You need to hurry it up, okay? Like, no, yeah. So going fast does not mean the same thing. But what we know when someone does this, women typically nod when they're saying, "I get it. I understand. Tell me more about that." Most of the research shows this. Men typically do not do that. Most of the time, the only time the men, first of all, research shows most men do not tilt their head. This is actually a very submissive gesture. Dogs typically do not tilt their head, and so they're hardwired to be very dominant, so they look straight forward. Which one comes across more, and I kind of give it away, but which one looks more confident? When I look and said, I said stop doing that, or I said stop doing that, it doesn't feel right, okay? It doesn't even feel the same. With this is confidence. When I speak to you, I'm going to speak with my head straight forward, and I'm going to talk to you with some confidence and power. When I'm trying to sit down with my partner, or your kids, or a team member, I'm not trying to have power and confidence. I'm trying to connect to say, let's talk about what's going on. And in that moment, I'm going to use my body language. I am going to tilt my head. I am going to nod and say, wow, darling, I didn't know that happened. So tell me more, like what's really going on right now? And I tilt my head to say, I'm listening. I get you. This is empathy, right? This is empathy about how to show up and use your body language. So, let me ask you a question. What questions do you have for me about body language, and how to use your body language to really show empathy and compassion? If I just sat up here and taught you how to analyze customers, how to analyze team members, if you're so busy analyzing everyone else, what are you not doing? You're not connecting. You're not, and everything I teach about body language is about connecting.